Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar Application of Software in Civil Engineering. I would like to introduce today's speaker Mr. Vivek Singh. Currently is working as freelancer and consultant. He completed his BTech Civil Engineering from ABS Engineering College. Then he worked in construction industry for 2 years. Then he shifted to education management industry. There he served for 4 years. Also, he has given training in 130 events in 22 states within India and 3 in abroad. In addition, he also conducted 15 online webinars around the world. Till date, he has trained 3,738 participants. With this introduction, now I would request Mr. Vivek Singh to deliver a talk on application of software in civil engineering. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, sir. So, hi, good morning, everyone, whoever has joined. So, this webinar is on application of software in civil engineering. Let me just share the content with you all. I hope all of you can see this. Yeah. Okay. So, this webinar is on application of software in civil engineering, and my name is Vivek Singh, as you know. I'm a technical instructor and course developer on Learn Civil Online, learncivilonline.com. So let's start this webinar. So my introduction, my name is Vivek Singh. I'm from Noida, and I started my career in construction industry. I worked for 2 years there. Then I always wanted to teach, so I switched to technical education after that. Then I've been working for in this training and education field for 4 years now, and developed more than 20 technical courses. So all these technical courses that I've developed, which is 20 in numbers and maybe more than that, are part of civil engineering, architecture, project management, building information modeling, surveying, and GIS. So mostly I develop courses for civil engineers only, which can be used by architects, GIS engineers, BIM engineers, project managers as well. I've delivered more than 130 trainings and workshops for colleges, not only colleges, but also companies, corporates, where they require corporate training. And it's around in 22 states in India and 15 countries abroad, both online and offline. And I've trained around 3,738 participants, 3,738 participants till now, and which I'm still counting. So that's my experience. Let's come on to the topic now. So first of all, before even discussing the application of software in civil engineering, the first thing that we should discuss is what exactly is a software. So you might be using lots of mobile applications on your smartphones. Whatever you're using there, these are all softwares. They just make your work easier. Okay? Those online softwares that you have for buying stuffs online, and then you have your gaming softwares, you have your analyzing softwares, you have softwares which even your alarm clock is a software. Why it is a software? Because it's making your work easier. Okay, the alarm clock in your mobile phones. How is it making your work easier? It's letting you to wake you up in the morning. So if we are surrounded by softwares everywhere, a computer, as you know, is a system software, and it has lots of application softwares which you can use for different things. One can be entertainment, one can be education, one can be doing your simple tasks. Okay, so that way softwares play a major role in our life. We are surrounded by softwares everywhere. Media is using it. The cricketers are using the software to make their their performance more effective. It's used in sports, manufacturing industry, it's used in education industry, it's everywhere. Okay. So what exactly is a software? Software is a program that tells a computer how to perform tasks. And if you look clearly, that is what computer do. it makes our work easier. Whatever calculations you need to do, it is actually performed by a computer, and you don't need to worry about anything there. You just put whatever query you have, and it will give you answers. And then there is a program which is also called application, like application softwares. There's a series of step-by-step instructions that tell the computer precisely what actions to perform. So these programs are like you have some well-defined instructions, and you input something and you get an output. So whatever softwares you are using, there will be a program in that which helps you in doing those tasks easily. Let's see what are the softwares or where the softwares are used in education. So you can see in this whole slide, we have study materials where we use PPTs. The Microsoft PowerPoint is a software, as you all know. This particular PPT, the slides which you are seeing here, is developed using Microsoft PowerPoint, which is again a software. And what it has done is it has just combined all the stuff that I want to show people, who are attending this webinar. So it's making my work very easy. Just combined all the slides together into a file, which is a Microsoft PPT, and I can just share with you all. There are lots of things that I can do in this. And the another software that we are using right now is WebEx. We are connected by WebEx. So that is another software that is for the interface. Okay, you can see what I'm doing. We can talk. That is again a software. So in this, you can see apart from Microsoft PPT, we have Word, PDFs. All these are used as study materials. If you look at creativity, for creativity, we have Microsoft Paint. So Microsoft, as you know, is one of the major software developers. That's why you all have known the name of Bill Gates. Is working. He is the one who founded Microsoft. So you can see why he is the richest, because he has because Microsoft has developed so many softwares which are useful for us. Okay, they know our need. And if you look at collaboration and cooperation softwares, these are Dropbox, Google Drive, and all that. Then practice, organization and planning, we have calendars, blackboards, which you can use on computer. All these are another set of softwares. Then in references, we have these star map dictionaries and all. And we have lots of softwares which are used for games. Okay, puzzle solving, simulators of serious game, GPS location games. So in education also, we have been using softwares for a long time. Okay. Now coming to civil engineering, we should think that if these many softwares are used in education already, then why are we not using softwares in civil engineering? Because the softwares, as you can see, softwares are making our work very easy. It's making our work easy. So why are we not using softwares in civil engineering? We should use them because it will make our work effective and even faster. Okay. And now if you look, these are the commonly used softwares for civil engineers. You can just take a note of this. We have Oracle Primavera. Okay, most of the demands that I get for trainings is from this particular software, which is Oracle Primavera P6. Why? Because this is a breakthrough in the field of project management, this particular software. This has a lot of demand right now, and people are trying to learn this because it's making their work very easy. Earlier, we used to use this Microsoft project. You can see here, this is Microsoft project. So we were using this earlier, and it was quite good. We thought it was quite good as a project manager. But later, when we discovered Primavera P6, we thought that it's quite better than Microsoft project. In Microsoft project, you can just manage a particular project, but in Primavera P6, you can manage the whole company, whole enterprise, along with the projects. Then we have few softwares on StatPro. StatPro is a designing software. So it's in civil engineering, if you look, there are lots of fields: designing, surveying, GIS, BIM. Then you have drafting, modeling. So for each of these fields, we have different kinds of software. And it's not the only softwares that I'm showing you. These are not the only softwares which are available. There are lots of softwares, but these are the ones which are, you know, quite useful to us, and they're quite famous. You know, everyone is using them. They're quite known, and that's why I've shown these softwares. You can see you might have seen these softwares somewhere if you are related to the field of civil engineering. Someone might be using this in civil engineering everywhere. And the one that you would have used maybe in past is this AutoCAD. You can see AutoCAD is a well-known software which is used in civil engineering. Then we have Excel, which is a very general purpose software that everyone uses, not only civil engineers. All the people use Excel for data analysis and even data storage. It makes it easier. Again, ETAP, SAFE, and SAP are design software. Then you have QGIS, Revit. So we'll see what these are in the next slides. Let's look at an example. Let's see what was it like to have no software at all for civil engineers, how it would have felt. Let's see. Right now, we are in a world where we have lots of softwares. We have access to lots of softwares, but in the past, you know, if you go, let's say, 70 years back, or maybe 50 years back from now, 50 or 60 years back, you will see that people were not using softwares actually. They were, it was more of an art for them. You know, they have to be more skilled in order to do stuffs in civil engineering. Like this, you can see life before AutoCAD. You can see how they, all of them are lying around and are drawing these, you know, working on these drawings. And you can see how difficult it would have been in the earlier times. And they're taking a lot of time in creating these drawings. And if they make any mistake, it would be a lot of trouble for them. So you can imagine how difficult it was earlier when people were not using any softwares. We can't say they thought it was difficult. Now, if they compare AutoCAD with what they were doing, they will see that, okay, yeah, that was quite difficult. But in their times, they would have not felt that it is a difficult task, because whenever we are introduced to something easy, we have a feeling that earlier whatever we were doing was difficult. Okay, although it is not. It's just that we have got access to the things which are easier now. So we are just comparing whatever we had before. So that's the thing what happened with AutoCAD. Although they're working hard, but it's not like they thought it's very difficult. It was a little complicated, and it is it in AutoCAD now as well. But now you can see how AutoCAD has changed everything in the field of drafting. Okay. People do not spend time on drawings. They can just create these kind of drawings, these engineering drawings in few hours, if not few days. Again, another example, life before AutoCAD. You can see these two people. This is kind of a city planning they are doing, map of a city or some town. You can see how much trouble it is to work on these. And these drafters you might have seen in your first year if you are a BTech graduate. In civil engineering, you might have seen these kinds of drafters. Okay, we were using them earlier. You know, in first year we were taught that these drafters are useful, but they are not, because we have AutoCAD. Okay, so those are useless. Okay. Better is we start practicing on AutoCAD, understand the basic engineering drawing, rather than using those drafters. Then came AutoCAD, and when it came in December 1982. You can see here. And this is how it looked initially when it came. You can see it is complicated. And now if you look, the interface of AutoCAD has been improved a lot, and now anyone can use it. You don't even need a training on AutoCAD, if I tell you, uh, because the interface is so easy. It's like a normal application which you have on smartphones or anything. You can just draw anything, and AutoCAD tells you what to do. Actually, you have all the commands which is given by AutoCAD. You just need a little guidance how you can use AutoCAD, but actually you don't need any help in case of AutoCAD if you want to learn it. It's a very basic software. That's why we say it. This was when it was launched. You can see how complicated it is, and now you can see how many things you can do using AutoCAD. You can see you can work on 3 or 4 interfaces at the same time, and without even feeling that you're doing any hard work. So in short, it's making your work easy and effective, and you're able to reduce errors, as much as possible. So let's look at the list of important software for civil engineers and students. Okay. So first, look at the categories. What categories are there? First, we'll look at the categories, and then we'll see in each categories which software are useful. So these, if you are a civil engineer, you will see that if you break civil engineering into smaller fields, subfields, you can say, or sub branches, then you will see that these are the 10 branches that can come out of it. The famous one, I would say. The first is basic calculation and data analysis. That is done everywhere. This is a very common thing. The second is 2D drafting and drawing. So again, the AutoCAD, you might know. The drawing and drafting is done initially, before the construction of building, bridges, or anything happens at construction sites. You need to prepare drawings for that. That's why we have the second category, which is 2D drafting and drawing. The first category, which is basic calculation and data analysis, is a very general thing which can be used anywhere. Like if you're designing, you might need, if you're structural designing, you might need the first category, which is basic calculations and data analysis. Second is 2D drafting and drawing. So whenever you're making drawings, which will be executed at construction sites, you can use 2D drafting and drawing. The third is 3D architectural modeling. Now, if you're not satisfied with those drawings, like if those drawings are not telling you the full story of your construction process or maybe your model, then you can use this 3D architectural modeling. What happens is now you're drawing these designs in 3D. So there's one more axis which is added. And visually, it looks good and detailed. Like you can have the details of all the things in your structure, like all the things starting from beams, columns, what joints are there, what what paint or surface paint you have put, what kind of texture your elements have, not only the dimensions but also the interiors, like the furnitures, what furnitures you're placing. If you look at landscaping, landscaping has gardens, swings, swimming pools, okay, chairs and tables, main gate. So everything you can model using this 3D architectural modeling category. Here you need a software which can do everything for you, starting from modeling the building, then interior of the building, interior designing, as well as the exterior design, which includes landscaping. For that, you will refer this category, which is 3D architectural modeling. Then we have structural analysis and design, the fourth one. So this is for the structural designers. Okay, so they have to do lots of analysis and design. Why we need to do analysis and design? You all know that you need to decide that what kind of material you will be using for the building that you are constructing. Okay, you need to decide what material you want to use and what dimensions of the elements you want to use. If it is a column and beam, so what sizes these columns and beams will have and what material they will have, whether they will be of steel, timber, RCC, or just concrete. Okay. So that is decided by doing structural analysis and design. You can't just start constructing a building uh, using any material you want unless you analyze and design the whole structure based on the loads coming on it. So that's why structural analysis and design is an important field in civil engineering, which needs to be covered and which needs assistance. And that's why we have softwares related to structural analysis and design, which can help people in doing those complicated analysis and design very quickly. You can do that. It won't take that much time, how much that it was taking earlier. But the thing is that you still need to know the basics of structural analysis and design. It's not like I can give this software to anyone and they can start analyzing and designing any structure they want. You need to have knowledge of the theoretical structural analysis and design to do that. So that's also important. Then construction project management. Construction project management, the name tells you what this is. Okay. The general term for this is project management, but when you are concentrating on construction field, the process of construction, then it becomes construction project management. And why this is important? Because whatever you're doing, if you want to do something, the better is you plan for it first. Okay. So if I want to, let's say, if I want to start an NGO, or I want to start a company or something, so I need to first plan for that. Okay. If you're starting to become an athlete, so first you need to prepare a plan. Okay, these are the things I need to do, and at this point of time, I would become an athlete for sure. Okay, in whatever direction you're going. So planning is needed everywhere, whatever you need to do. But in construction, which is a very complicated process, planning becomes very important as compared to other things. Because construction, if you look, you might have seen construction sites. So how complicated these tasks are during construction, you can just think of that. Because construction work has lots of things to be covered. You need to depend on your resources, the labor resources, the material resources. You need to depend on environment, weather conditions. If it's raining, you can't do construction work. Most of the construction work you can't do. You have political issues, you have social issues, you have internal issues which needs to be solved. So for that you need a project manager. Okay, the one leader who leads the whole team of that project, makes the work smoother. So project managers can do project management. Verbally they can do it, they can talk to people and convince them to do their own work. But the thing is, project management also needs calculations to be done. Which activity is important to them, which activity is not important, how to know whether a project is under budget, over budget, behind the schedule, ahead of the schedule. So for all this, you need kind of a calculation that has to be done. You need to find out the budget of the whole project. So that's why construction project management is important. And if we have a software in this field, then it will be a great thing. That's why we have few softwares in this field as well. Then we have building information modeling. You might have heard of this building information modeling, which is an emerging field. Okay, so building information modeling, I can tell you in one line, this is a methodology or it's not a software. BIM is not a software. It's a methodology where information builds the model. Okay, you are not just modeling a building, you are modeling the building with information, lots of information, and all the people who are working on a single project are collaborating on a single platform so that there is no communication gap. There is no misunderstanding between the team members of a project. So that we can achieve using building information modeling. Then we have surveying and GIS, which is called Geographic Information System. Surveying and GIS, surveying is a well-known field. You know, I even conduct trainings on surveying where I teach total station and auto level, which are the best tools if you want to become a surveyor. So I found that in colleges, students, they start learning with plane table surveying, they start to learn chain surveying and all that. But the major important things that you need to learn in as far as surveying is concerned, just two things, which is auto level and total station. I spent 2 years at construction sites while learning about these things. I saw that only two instruments were used there. One was total station and auto level. If someone knows these two instruments, then they can do anything in the field of survey. They can mark the columns, they can find the coordinates of any point. It's a skill which will get you a job, or maybe it will increase your profile value. If you're a civil engineer and if you have surveying skills, it becomes an added advantage. When you are plotting these points or coordinates on a map, or you are doing analysis over a map, you need GIS, Geographic Information System. Whatever Google Maps you are seeing, everything is based on GIS, the Google Maps, the Google Earth interface. All of them is made, is based on GIS. So GIS is also a very important field in civil engineering. It's actually a standalone field, but still we can say that it is somehow related to civil engineering. If you're a civil engineering graduate or you're into colleges, you might have seen that GIS is one of the subjects there. Quantity surveying and estimation helps us to find out the quantities of elements or structural components we are using. And if you know how much material you want to use, you have to use for building a structure or kind of a bridge, building, roads, whatever you want to create, construct. If you can calculate how much material is needed, then you can find out the total cost of that project. You have the rates of these materials and you can just multiply these things and you can get the total cost of the project. So that way it can help you in predicting the cost of the project and even taking note of whatever spendings you're doing in a construction project. Then we have traffic and transport planning, where we do the signal designing. You might have seen traffic signals, how it changed from red to green and green to red. So there is some algorithm going on there. It's not like it's just a linear thing which is going on. After 50 seconds, it will turn to green. Then after 10 seconds, it will turn to red. It's not like that. There is some algorithm going on, which is totally based on the traffic data, which is there in that field. And now statistical analysis, it is used for statistics. It's used in the field of statistics to analyze data. So let's look at each of these fields one by one and see what softwares we have for these fields. Let's start with the basic calculations and data analysis. So for the first field, which is basic calculations and data analysis, the software that we have is Microsoft Excel. And I guess all of you have heard of Microsoft Excel. Students in colleges, they get to know about Microsoft Excel at the end of their career, at the end of their BTech life, not the career, the BTech life. And that's actually not good, because you should know about Microsoft Excel around, your 10th standard. Okay, so why? Because Microsoft Excel is something you need to spend a lot of time on this software to become an expert. So if you start early from your 10th standard, you start using it to put data into that and see how it works. It becomes very easy for you, and you'll have a habit of using this software, and you'll see how important this software is in everyone's life as far as professional life is concerned, where you put the data and you can see lots of things happening in your data. You can do a data analysis, data management, data storage, everything. You can create charts. Suppose even if you are a working, even if you are a person, a professional person who is, you know, uh, is working in the field of civil engineering or maybe in any field. Okay? And if you're doing, let's say if you want to save some money for some goal of yours, or you have some target for which you need some money, so you can do the, you can create a balance sheet and see what savings you are getting out of every month, and you can plan your savings as well. And for that you should not use pen and paper. Okay, that's quite conventional. If you use Excel, you will see how easy it makes for you to do those things. And because all the calculations is done by Excel, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to take a calculator and pen and paper, okay, to find out your savings or earnings, whatever you're doing. So that's why this becomes important. That's just a basic use of it. Okay, that's just a basic use. If you come to civil engineering, we have lots of data to be stored. Okay, if you're doing designing, let's say structural designing, so those who are in the field of civil engineering, they would know that in structural analysis and design we have lots of formula. Okay, you have bending moment of beams, bending moment of columns, shear force diagrams. You have deflection calculations. You have formulas for calculating the area of steel in an RCC element. So you have lots of complicated formulas, and every time you need to find something, you have to take a calculator and put the values, and then you note the answers. Like, I'm getting this much. Bending moment is 200 Newton meter. Shear force is 50 newtons. Deflection is 0.1 mm. So you are just calculating on a calculator and just putting the values on paper. So it's just a very time consuming task. Better is, and again, if you lose that paper or whatever notes you have, then it's gone. You can't use it again. What you can do is, in this Microsoft project, you can prepare an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet that we call. Spreadsheet is a very general term for this. Microsoft Excel is a software in the field of spreadsheets. Okay, spreadsheets can be of various based on various other applications as well. It's not like Microsoft Excel is the only software in terms of spreadsheets. Okay, there are other softwares as well. So suppose you're doing structural analysis and design, you can put the formulas in Excel, and if you put the dimension of beams and put the material, you will get the deflection of that beam. Okay, once you have set up the whole formula there. So you can see how easy it would be if we can get something like that. So even in the starting of your graduation, in the first year or so, if we are taught about Microsoft Excel, how we can use it, you don't even need to take notes in your classroom. You can just take your laptop there, put the formulas, whatever your teacher is teaching you, or whatever you find in your books. Just put the formulas, and note what that formula represents, and if there is any theoretical thing that you want to note, that also you can note there. So you don't need to take pen, notebooks and all that to your college. Just take a laptop, note everything there. That's how engineers work. Engineers should not use pen and paper. You're not into literature where you are writing poems and stories. Okay, you are an engineer, so try to use more and more technology. We are the creator of technologies, so why not use it? Why use pen and paper for everything? Okay. When I go to colleges, I see very few students only who use their own laptops for taking notes or putting the formulas or use Excel. So this is something we need to change in India. Now let's come to 2D drafting and drawing. Now, if you come to 2D drafting and drawing, we have a well-known software in this field, and that's kind of a monopoly in this field, by this software. You can't find any other software which can help you creating drawings in 2D better than AutoCAD. So AutoCAD has the best user interface as far as what 2D drawing is concerned. And that's why AutoCAD is known to everyone, not only civil engineers, electrical engineers. It is useful for electrical engineers, even for computer science students, or even the electronic students, where they create those computer chips which needs some circuits that they need to design. They design using AutoCAD. Okay, they create those lines and all that. And same is with electrical engineering, where they create those transformer lines and all that using AutoCAD, the grid lines and everything. For civil engineers, we create drawings, sorry. So engineering drawings, we create engineering drawings like the floor plan, okay, formwork, shuttering plan. We create column layout. So all these drawings which are sent to the construction site for the real work, for constructing your structure on ground. So whatever you send there is used by site engineers. Okay. So as a site engineer, you will see that you are getting all the AutoCAD drawings with you. And these drawings are created using this AutoCAD. For students, AutoCAD is available for 3 years, okay, without any charges, free of charge. So if you're a student, you can just go to autodesk.com and download and install this software, use it for free for 3 years. Okay. And you'll see how easy it is to create drawings here. And it's the best user interface you can get in any software. I have not seen any civil engineering software which has the best user interface like AutoCAD. Because it's the oldest one. That's the only reason. Okay. Even if Primavera P6 from 20 years from now, if we see Primavera P6, it will not be Primavera P6, maybe P10, P15, P20. Then we'll see a better user interface of Primavera P6. It was just now developed, so that's why the user interface is a little difficult. But AutoCAD was developed in 1982, so they have been upgrading this software every year. And now what version we are seeing in 2020 after 38 years is the best version of all. That's why it has improved a lot. Now 3D structural modeling, the software that we use in this field is ArchiCAD. Okay, ArchiCAD is from Graphisoft. Graphisoft is one of the software developers. They create softwares in the field of these graphical designing and all that. You might have seen few games which are developed by this company, Graphisoft. But the best thing about this software is it's the graphics are very good. If you look at its graphics, it's quite extraordinary. You will find that your structural elements, they look realistic. You can see this interior. You can also do interior designing using ArchiCAD. And you can see how realistic it looks, and you can place furnitures, interiors, everything in your model very easily using ArchiCAD. And even the exterior part, you can see the exterior part. You can design these roads, gardens, and everything using ArchiCAD. So what's the use of ArchiCAD? I'll tell you in one line that suppose you are planning to construct your own house. Maybe you're planning to construct your own house, and now you don't know how to plan for it. And best option is you will model your house, and you will see whether every room that you have modeled will satisfy your purpose or not. If you want to place a bed in one of the rooms, will that be well placed or not? Will you be left with space, the required space, or not? So you can test your models using ArchiCAD. Create your model, see if the spacings are fine or not. If it is fine for 5 people, a 3 BHK that you have designed using ArchiCAD, is it fine for a family of 5 members or not? Okay. That way you can plan personally. And commercially, it is used by most of the companies to show the models they are working on to their clients. They can directly show the model to their clients. Okay, because client is the one who is spending so much amount of money on your structure, on these structures. So if you can show them the model or the structure even before the construction starts, the client will get to know how their structure will look like, and the client can reject or accept that kind of model before the actual construction. Just imagine what will happen if something goes wrong after the construction and there is some mistake that the designer has done or the modeler has done. And now the client can't say anything. If he says to demolish the structure and construct it again, then it's a huge loss for the consultant who is creating these models or who is working on the construction design of these structures. So that's why it becomes very easy for everyone to get things done as far as structural modeling is concerned. Mostly it is used by architects, but civil engineers can also use it. Now, I don't need to explain how important structural analysis and design is for civil engineers. You need to design your structure before sending it to the construction site to make sure that it is safe. Okay, if your structure is not safe, that means you're taking a risk. Okay, for civil engineers, structural analysis is very important, because if you make mistake in this, it will not only be a huge loss of your of your company, it will be a huge loss for the people your customers who are living in that structure. If it is a building, if people are living in that building, and if your structure fails after 10 years on a minor earthquake, then that's not a good thing. There will be loss of lives, and you might end up in jail if you are a civil engineer or the structural designer of that particular thing. So those mistakes, how can those mistakes happen? If you're doing something theoretical, there is a chance that you might do mistakes. But if you're using these softwares, your chances of errors gets reduced. I'm not saying you will not be doing theoretical calculations, or you're not be doing any theoretical work. You will be doing your theoretical work, but along with that, you will be using these softwares. So it's just making your work errorless. Okay, it's more accurate. Your work will become more accurate. You can see the interface of these softwares. ETAB, SAP 2000, and SAFE 2006. SAFE 2016 is just a version. So ETAB, SAP 2000, and SAFE. These are all free softwares used for structural analysis and design, and these are developed by CSI America. Okay, Computer and Structures Inc. America. And ETABS is used for for designing buildings, designing and analyzing buildings. while SAP is used for general purpose structural analysis and design. The design, you want to design a beam, you want to see shear force and bending moment in a beam, you can use SAP 2000. And SAFE is for foundation design. SAFE software is for foundation design. Apart from that, there are more designing softwares developed by CSI America. Then we have StatPro from Bentley, and you might have heard of StatPro. It is also a structural analysis and design software. You can see the interface of SAP 2000. You can see how you can do structural analysis. This is best for analyzing a beam or frames. You know, you want to understand basic structural analysis, you can use this. And if you want to work on buildings, okay, designing and analyzing buildings, then you can use ETABS. For foundations, you can use SAFE. And StatPro is used for, it's a very general purpose designing software, just like SAP 2000. You can design beam, buildings, anything you want. Okay, then coming on to construction project management, we have two major softwares. One is Microsoft Project and one is Oracle Primavera. So the project managers earlier were preferring Microsoft Project. You know, they started using Microsoft Project. It is from Microsoft, the same company that developed Excel. And you can see why it's from the same company. You can see the user interface, how similar it is. Okay. So it is used for project management. And the problem with Microsoft Project is you can just work on one project at a time. And there are few things which are not too good in Microsoft Project if you compare it with Primavera P6. If you look at Primavera P6, although the interface might look intimidating, but it's the best project management software you can find on. So most of the people in foreign countries, in UK, Australia, America, they work on Primavera P6 and they ask for trainings on Primavera P6 the most, you know, they mostly the trainings are on Primavera P6 only there in these countries. Microsoft Project is something that we are using here, but we should change to Primavera P6, switch to Primavera P6 for better results. Building information modeling, as I told you what building information modeling is, where information builds the model and everyone is collaborating on a single platform. For this, Autodesk has given us a huge number of options. Autodesk, the same developer who has developed AutoCAD. They've given Revit Architecture, Revit Structure, and Revit MEP. Revit Architecture will be used for architectural modeling, Revit Structure for structural modeling, and Revit MEP for MEP modeling. MEP means mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So you are covering all the aspects of a structure, you know, the modeling. You want to model it based on architecture, based on structure or MEP, you can do it using Revit. This is also an emerging software. You can see the Revit architecture interface, how you can model your building as far as architecture is concerned. And this is Revit Structure, which gives you details of the reinforcement if you're using RCC and even steel. Then Revit MEP gives you the details of the MEP works. You can see heating and ventilation stuffs are shown here. So you can design them and model them very easily. Surveying and Geographic Information System, we have Total Station and GIS, QGIS. So Total Station is something you can use. It's not a software, but it is using a software and it is useful for civil engineers. So using Total Station and QGIS, you can create a map of your own college. I have, you know, helped people creating maps of their own college using this. So you can see how useful this can be. So you can see the maps here. This is a GIS map. Okay. And you can represent lots of things here. Like in Google Maps, if Google Maps shows you, suppose if it shows you which area of India right now is having higher temperature and which area is having lower temperature. Okay, if some map is showing you, that is done by QGIS, or I would say GIS. I'll show you an interesting thing now. This is the map of Government Engineering College, Majali Karwar. It's near Goa. So I conducted an internship for this college, and me and students, we collaborated and created this whole map of that college. It's not a very big college, but still you can see how much details have been shown here. Pond, the blocks, engineering blocks, roads, everything. So all the points were collected using the total station, and these points were put into QGIS to create this kind of map. You can see the map here, and you can see the legends, what these represents. You can even see the north direction. So map has been originated as per the north direction. You can also see the scale. So this whole map is created using QGIS, and the coordinates have been collected using total station. So when you collaborate total station and QGIS together, you get something like this. So this is something which people should, students should take up for their final year projects, creating the map of their own college. This is something which is practical. You can use these stuffs in your job. But when you're doing your final year projects on concrete and you're not getting any results, it's just for submitting your project. You just submit a project on concrete, something, I don't know, but it has no use in future, even in your career. So that's of no use. So take a final year project which can be used by you in future. It can improve your skills, or it can add up few skills in your profile. And this is the map that I created last night, around 2 a.m. in the morning, today morning, 2 a.m. So this I created using QGIS. You can see this is the active cases in India till 13th May, 12 a.m. So I collected the data till 12 a.m. of coronavirus cases, and I put all of them on QGIS, and you can see I've got this map. You can see the cases with more than 15,000 numbers are here in Maharashtra. So the maximum one is in Maharashtra. Minimum, yeah, these are the active cases. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, we are running out of time. Can you conclude, please?
Yeah, just 5 minutes. Yeah. Just few slides are left. So quantity serving and estimation, here there's a combination of two softwares. One is Microsoft Excel, and there is AutoCAD. So AutoCAD can help you in calculating the areas of various plans, and Excel can help you in calculating the all the quantity stuffs, the rates and everything. So you can see AutoCAD and Microsoft Excel are helpful for this particular task, which is quantity serving and estimation. So it's also a very helpful thing which quantity surveyors can get. Then there is traffic and transport planning, where I told you can design signals and all. So PTV VISM is something which can use here, and you can see how you can get this kind of designing using the software. Statistical analysis, IBM's SPSS is a software which is used for statistical analysis, and you can see this kind of analysis you can do using statistical analysis in IBM SPSS. So conclusion, I'll conclude this whole webinar. So there is a lot to learn and explore in civil engineering as far as application of software is concerned. One can find their field of interest and then try to learn the software in that field. Okay, so first you need to find the field of interest. In which field are you interested? And then find the software which are related to that field and just start working on it. And the most important, just learning the software is not enough unless you know how the software is working or calculating stuff. So the story behind the software is also very important. What is happening in the back end? So theoretical knowledge is also very important without using any software. So work on your basic theoretical concepts as well as while learning any software. So I'm from Learn Civil Online. I run a website, learncivilonline.com. So I train students online these days because of this COVID-19 thing. So learn courses based on latest industry grade software used in the field of civil engineering, project management, BIM, and GIS. Learn the best design courses from the best instructor online. Training mode is live virtual trainings. So just like this webinar, the trainings are conducted live. And these are the upcoming courses on live Learn Civil Online. Construction project management using Primavera P6, 50 hours, starting from 18th May, and building information modeling using ArchiCAD, 30 hours, starting around that period only. So you can let me know. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all like this webinar. And if there are any questions you can ask, we can have a discussion.
Yes, I have one question, Vivek.
Yeah.
Till now you have discussed various software like Revit, Beam, so many things. Just I want to understand, you have any particular software can evaluate volume of the landfill?
Volume of the land.
Yeah, we want to understand the degradation effect. First, we have to know the volume to estimate the methane emission. So with this, you are working with so many softwares. You have any idea which software will be suitable to estimate the volume of the landfill?
If you want to estimate
disturbing
volume,
the soil.
Yeah, if you want to estimate volume of the landfill, then you have to use remote sensing in that case. There's no other choice, I would say, because it's not like these kinds of softwares will help you. AutoCAD can't help you anything in that. You have to collect the data first of all. Maybe based on remote sensing, you will get those data. And GIS is something that can help you in this field. So you have to get the data from remote sensing and put that into ArcGIS. And ArcGIS might help you in this case. I'm not sure, but ArcGIS is something that can help you. And there might be more, softwares which can help you. But as far as I know, remote sensing is something that can help you in finding the volume of landfill. Yeah. So.
Anyway, yes. Any idea about migration? How, in which flow direction? Any software you have by GIS? Anything?
I'm sorry.
Idea?
For
migration.
GIS? Yes.
Yeah. Can you able to map that?
Migration. You want to
which
map
flow direction? Yes.
What kind of migration are you talking about?
You were talking about in Mangalore, the Karwar. You have done the physically survey and you have used the GIS concept. Similar way, if I'm telling you to work on the landfill, the migrations will be there in X and Y directions. Can you able to map from upstream to downstream which direction? Is it possible? Can you use that?
To map the migration?
Yeah, leachate migration or water migration. From
Again, if you want to map it, you need the physical data. So that physical data will be based on remote sensing only. I would say remote sensing is something. So you need to use a few, hardwares which can help you in collecting remote sensing data, because it is not something which is available online that you can get those leaching data that you have. You have to collect those data. The first thing is data collection. And once you've done the data collection, you can put that in a software, and that might help you in finding those out. So that is one thing that you can do. Yes, otherwise, if I find any kind of software which can help you in this field, I will let you know. You can just mail me or send me a message regarding this. I can send you the details about that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for your presentation, Vivek. Just now, I request my director to give a vote of thanks.
Mr. Vivek, thank you very much for accepting to come and deliver the talk here. A few questions which I received from one of the students is here. Can a plugin be developed for Revit? Can a plugin be developed for Revit is a question.
Plugin be developed for Revit. Plugins are something which are kind of, an add-ons which are there. So if Autodesk is allowing you to add those plugins, then it can be developed. But again, the developer is AutoCAD. So if they have plugins which are related to Revit, then you can, add those. Like GIS, QGIS have plugins which you can add. But Revit, you have to see if Autodesk have plugins related to Revit or not.
There is one more question from Jagdish. Yes, actually, and Jagdishan, he is asking a question. How do we know that AutoCAD will be helpful in quantifying surveying? How do we know
in the quantity surveying? Okay, so in AutoCAD you create those drawings, the floor plans, shuttering plans, and everything. So in using AutoCAD, how it will be useful in quantity surveying is it can create, you can calculate areas of various plans there. So suppose there are beams, so you can calculate the area of the top view of the beam, the area of beam. at least the dimension, one-way dimension you can calculate, then you can multiply that with the depth, because you already have drawings with you in AutoCAD. So you just have to measure those drawings and calculate the dimensions and put that into Excel. Put the width or height of those elements and multiply it with the rates, the market rates, and you can get the cost. That way AutoCAD can help you.
Yeah, Vikas Mehta is asking a question. He wants clarification between surveying and GS, whether they are same or different.
Okay, so surveying is a vast field. Okay, surveying is, you can say that GIS is a subset of surveying. Surveying is a very general term. Okay, if you're counting the number of cars on street, if you're counting the number of cars on some traffic signal, just for some data collection work, that is a surveying. Okay, if you're counting the number of buildings in your locality, that is a surveying. But which methodology can help you in doing these surveying in a better way is geographic information system. And geographic information system simply means, geographic means geo means earth. Okay, so you are collecting the information which is relevant to earth. So whatever the information you can get, you are surrounded by the things which are, placed on earth. So you can collect lots of information regarding earth, whether it is physical information or quantity information or any kind of information you are collecting, that comes under GIS, geographic information system.
Okay, sir, I think it was a very interesting session, and I also actually found it very much interesting. I'm basically from mechanical engineering and found this is very, very useful. Few things to add up to the participants here. Most of them are studying civil engineering. I would only say that don't hesitate to become software engineers, and not only that, they can become actually only user of software, users softwares, but they can also actually be in developing, and the development stage also they can join as engineers. So there is always an opportunity. You can always join IT company, become a developer, and you design any software which is relevant to civil engineering. That will be helpful. I think we will go with me, sir.
Yeah, that's correct, because we know what shortcomings are there in civil engineering, what we need. So if you can become a software developer, then you can just solve that problem very easily. So that's a good suggestion.
And thank you very much for coming. And I should be thankful to Naveen BP, who has coordinated the entire event and moderated it also. And I'm also thankful to Ms. Sakshi Gupta, who actually gave the link, and then she followed up continuously, prepared the the webinar poster and everything, and she was continuously following this program. And I'm thankful to her also. Dr. Naveen and team, you really done a good work. Vivek sir, I think we will be looking for some more interactions from you. It was very nice. Many people actually wrote in. More than I think 75 attendees were there all around. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. And we thank.
At the end, I would like to thank everyone. Thank you, sir, for conducting this webinar, and everyone who participated in this. And it was a great experience for me as well. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we thank the vision and visionaries of our, authorities of Amity University, founder, president, and chancellor, and as well as vice chancellor, pro vice chancellor. All are actually encouraging these types of webinars to happen. We are all thankful to them. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you. So I'll be disconnecting now. Thank you.
Thank you.